Once again, I've ended up picking up far more than I thought I was going to. This is everything I've bought in the last couple of weeks in January. I was intending that my next video was probably going to be a pickups video from the Newcastle gaming market, but we've got quite a lot to go through just from the regular doing the rounds, CEX, cash converters, a couple of bits from charity shops as well, I think. It's mostly CEX and cash converters, I think, this time. So I might as well get to it. The first one I picked up, it wasn't $3.99. I got the Incredible Hulk on the DS. I bought that because they put it down from $3.99 to £1. So I thought I can't go wrong for £1, and I like the Hulk. So that was the first one, mid-January-ish, sometime around there. And again, sticking with the DS, this was a different cash. That last one was from Cash Converters in Wallsend. The next one, this is Gateshead. And another DS game. It's an American one, but I was intrigued by this M&M's one. It was £1, so I'm going to actually give that a go, see what it's all about. Again, can't really lose for £1. And I've got a few empty DS boxes upstairs, and we were in Cash Converters, and my wife was with me at the time, and she saw me going through all the little tray of the loose DS games, and she said, "You've got the box for that one?" And I said, "All right, okay." And it's let me just read this properly before I show you. Disney Princess Magical Jewels, and that was £1 as well. And she was right. Upstairs, I have a box, an empty box with a manual for this. So I think it only trades in for about £1.60 or something, but that might be going actually. And then we'll stick with Cash Converters, but it's not DS anymore. This was Cash Converters in Newcastle upon Tyne. They originally had this game up for $9.99, I think, and then they put it down to £7. And I went in and I said, "I'll take it if you let me have it for £5." And it's a F1 World Grand Prix on the Nintendo 64. Don't know how easy it's going to be to get in the box protector, but I'll show you what it is. I'll show you what it is. It is complete. Try not to get too much glare there. It does have the insert and the manual. Oh, and it came from, I'll show you something in a sec. Used to go there all the time. Can't get the manual out for some reason. It's got the box, the insert with the game in, and the manual there as well. And this originally, well, not originally, obviously, probably, but at some point in its life, you can see that came from Granger Games. And the actual one in the Granger market in Newcastle as well, before they branched out a bit. Oh, I assume it's before they branched out a bit anyway. Used to go there all the time, around about the PlayStation 1, going into PlayStation 2 era, I think. So that's the next one, F1 World Grand Prix. I'll put that back in its little protector, actually. I'll put it in, even though it's only a £5 game. I've got the box protectors, so I might as well use them. Probably if I buy something a bit more expensive, I'll change that over, but so I'll put that just there. The next pickups, I've got a little story to tell you about this one. Someone traded a load of Jaguar stuff into Kirkby Sales and Exchange, and they put it on their Facebook page, and I didn't really need any of it, apart from they traded in a load of games, but they traded in the Team Tap as well, and I do need that. And I messaged them and I says, "Oh, I see you've got a load of Jaguar stuff in." I says, "Oh, I don't really need anything. I just need the Team Tap." And I said, "Do you post?" I asked you a few months ago by message if you posted, and you replied to my message, but you must have missed out the bit where I asked you if you post, because I was interested in a game that you had in stock at the time, and that was a Missile Command 3D. So he says, "Oh," I got a reply, and he says, "Oh, sorry, you must have missed that part of the message." And he says, "We do post." And then he says, "And we've still got Missile Command in stock." And I said, "Oh, right, I'll take the Team Tap and I'll take Missile Command." And we had a little back and forth, and I told him that I collect Lynx games as well. Anyway, might as well show you the first couple of things I picked up before I go into the rest of the story. We did get the Team Tap in the box. That was only £17, so great price from Kirkby Sales and Exchange on that one. And then this, I think this is an excellent price for this, and it's in really nice condition. It's Missile Command 3D. This one hasn't got a locking tab, so it shouldn't be it shouldn't be that difficult to get into this one. And hopefully I can get into this and show you again that this one is complete with the manual and obviously the game as well. It's in the bag and it's still got the little leaflet there as well, promotional leaflet thing. And that was only £50, which I think is around about what CEX do sell it for, but they've never got it. They very rarely have it in stock, and I've seen it go for a lot more than £50 on eBay. So over the moon with that. Did me a great deal on those two, because he said these are the Lynx games we've got. So I says, oh great, let's have a look. And he went through, and there was only one that I needed, but it was quite a big hitter, and it was Desert Strike. So I said, right, I'll take Desert Strike as well. Just taking it for granted that it would be, you know, regular run-of-the-mill Desert Strike from 1993 or whenever it was. And he says, he sent me a message back and he says, oh, I've just checked and this one's got no manual. So I went on eBay because I'd already seen a listing from Sore Thumb, and they'd put up 4 Lynx manuals just by themselves. I don't need this one, but it's Batman Returns. Crystal Mines 2, I do need that. I've only got a loose cartridge for that one, so don't have the box for that one yet. Do have this boxed without the manual, so now this manual can go in there. It's quite a nice one to have, Basket Brawl. And then I bought the manual for Desert Strike. Now all 4 of those cost me 20 quid. I think it was 20 quid all in as well, so I don't think I paid any postage. Or there was also this little Telegames leaflet thrown in there as well. So I bought those. Even I did need 3 of the manuals, but I basically bought those 20 quid, 4 manuals for Desert Strike. Anyway, Desert Strike comes through, and I'll get to the end of the story. Absolutely no problem with this. I'll get to the end of the story. Desert Strike comes through, and I open it, and my heart sank. No manual that I already knew, but the cartridge was a 2002 Songbird re-release. I was gutted, but I messaged them straight away. And they said, "Oh, sorry, we didn't realise that one must have slipped through the net," kind of thing. And to be fair, they were absolutely great. They just said, "Send it back, and as soon as we receive it, we'll transfer you the money back." And that's exactly what happened. So they sent me. I was paying 140 all in for the three items because Desert Strike, like I say, is quite a big hitter. And they just transferred me 70 quid straight back. So I've ended up paying 70 with postage for Missile Command and the Team Tap. So I'm quite happy with that. Absolutely over the moon to add that to my collection, and I can't recommend Kirkby Sales and Exchange enough for the customer service. They absolutely no problems with returning it, and obviously I've added a couple of nice things to my collection, and I would absolutely shop there again if they have anything in stock that I need for my collections. So that's out of the way. The next one, I was in North Shields, just having a look around CEX, not looking for anything specific in particular. And this one caught my eye, and it's a Capcom collection, Capcom Classics collection on the PSP. That's only £8. To be fair, I would pay £8 if it was available for Final Fight on the PSP by itself. But this has got about another 20 or 25 games on it as well as Final Fight. So really happy to be adding that one as well. And we're still in North Shields CEX. In my last pickups video, I think before I did the Atari Lynx collection, I showed you that I got the Nintendo 64 and some bargain Nintendo 64 games, but I'd also paid a decent price for another game, which was Star Wars Battle for Naboo. So that made me want the rest of the Star Wars games on the Nintendo 64, and I've been to and froing whether I want to buy them all complete because Battle for Naboo is in the box, and I might end up doing that. But I've also told myself that with the Nintendo 64, I'm going to buy cartridge only unless it's a game that I had when we originally had a Nintendo 64. So I'm going to stick to that for now. But if any of them come up unboxed price, but they've actually got a box, or they've been downgraded for a little bit of damage or whatever, and they're an unboxed price. So then obviously I'll pick them up. But usually I'll just be buying them cartridge only, unless it's one, like I say, from when I was a kid and we had a Nintendo 64. So again, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, another Nintendo 64 one added to the collection. And then I've got from the same, I think this was from the same CEX, and it might have been on the same day, but my memory's a bit blurry now because, again, I didn't expect to be picking up so much of this stuff. And the next one is a bit of a classic, F-Zero. So I think that was £8 with vouchers. Nearly everything I pick up from CEX these days is with vouchers, and I've usually paid about a sixth to a tenth of what the voucher's actually worth to make that voucher. So it's well worth doing. For me, it is anyway. It won't be for everybody. So that F-Zero, put that one there. And I think this one was in Gateshead CEX. I can't remember exactly if it was before or after the last one. This one was available cartridge only again on the Super Nintendo, Super Mario All-Stars, and I think that was only £6. I think you get 4 games on that, and you can't go wrong with one Mario game. So for £6 or £8 or whatever it was, for 4 Mario games, I mean, we're all retro collectors, I think, that's watching this, so we all know what Super Mario All-Stars is. And then I was in a charity shop in Cramlington. So did I get that F-Zero in Cramlington? It might have been. It might not have been North Shields. That F-Zero might have been Cramlington. Anyway, so there's a couple of charity shops. One of them's a British Heart Foundation, so you're very unlikely to find anything in there for a decent price, unless it's something that you want to keep for your own collection, which is fair enough. But you're not really probably going to find anything to trade in. But there's another little charity shop that I don't think was there last time I was in Cramlington, and it's I think it might be quite a new one. And they had loads of games, nothing exceptional, but 1 or 2 decent things. But this was 50p. I couldn't remember if I had it, but it's in decent condition. And to be fair, I'd probably pick any game up from a charity shop for 50p. So I've got the original Guitar Hero on the PlayStation 2, which I think I've probably already got, but if I haven't, bonus. And if I have, then it's a decent case, and I've bought another one. So stick that there. I don't know if that's going to stand up, but. And then I was sat in the house looking on the internet like I do, and I'm usually scrolling through, like off and on. I'll be watching a YouTube video or whatever, and on the other screen, as you can see, I've got the 2 screens. On the other screen, I'll have a tab open for cash converters, CEX, eBay, and Facebook for Facebook Marketplace. So I was on cash converters, and I always refresh for the newly listed things. And this thing popped up in cash converters, and I had to double take the price. And it's the Doctor Who Sonic Screwdriver Wiimote, and I've tested it. All works fine and everything. And they had that in. You can see that for £5. That's the charging cable that comes with it. So I think that trades in for £25 at CEX. So if it ever comes to the crunch and I decide I don't need it, then I'll probably trade that in. But for the moment, I'm going to be keeping that because I don't think that's in stock. It's not plentifully in stock in CEX anyway, and I don't think I'm ever going to find another one for £5. So we've got a Doctor Who Sonic Screwdriver Wiimote to go with the golden Zelda Wiimote that we found in a charity shop a few months ago. And when I was in cash converters, obviously I've done quite well on the Sonic Screwdriver. Not so well on this one, although I'll still use it. I will still use it, so it's not a complete fail. But this was in the cabinet, and I'll just show you that quickly. And I said, and I'll take that Super Nintendo controller as well, that aftermarket Super Nintendo controller. And then I got it home, and it's not a Super Nintendo controller. It's down as a Mega Drive controller. I mean, maybe it'll work on my Atari 2600 Plus, and on my Mega Drives and things, and my Master Systems. But it wasn't quite what, because I had a Super Nintendo controller that looked very much like this when we had a Super Nintendo 30 odd years ago, and then I came to test it. I didn't even check the buttons or anything on the front. As you can see, there's only 3 buttons, And I went to plug it into my Super Nintendo, and it's not got the right connector on. So a little bit of a fail, but also not really, because like I say, I will still use it on other systems. Probably with a Mega Drive, or maybe I'll come across a cheap Mega Drive and bundle that on and get rid of it that way. Now we're at cash converters in Gateshead, where we started off this video, and this one I was looking at before because it's not a massive bargain, but I said to my wife, if that's still there next time, I'll offer them this and see if they'll go for it. And they originally had this up for a tenner, then they put it down to 7, then they put it down to 6. So I just went in and said, look, I think it's £6 at CEX anyway. So I just said, oh, look, I'll give you a £5 for that if you want to take it. So we've got Golden Axe on the Master System for £5. So, I mean, not the biggest bargain, but also not the biggest outlay. So, not too bad. Put that one there behind me. And then I got, finally, Desert Strike was going to be the Atari Lynx game that took me into single figures, I think. That would have took me down to needing 9 games, I think. So it would have been a nice big hitter. I could have done a nice video, probably just about that, maybe. Getting Desert Strike tonight, this good game to put me down to needing only 9 games for the Lynx. And then I sent that one back, and then the next day, after I'd sent that back, another one came into stock that I've been waiting for a while. Unfortunately, it's cartridge only, but it's very cheap. And it came into stock at CEX. So again, it was vouchers. So it's probably cost me £2, maybe £3 all in. And that's Awesome Golf on the Lynx. And at some point, I'm sure I'll upgrade that to a box copy. But my target, although spoiler alert, you'll see in a future video, I've probably not kept to that target already. My target was to get every game, whether it's boxed or cartridge only, before I start the condition upgrades, but that might have gone out the window, like I say already. So Awesome Golf, nice awesome little pickup. So like I say, that takes me down to single figures. And then I was in CEX in Gateshead, and I went to trade a few bits in and also see if there was anything there that I wanted to pick up. And in front of me in the queue, there was a lad with a big duffel bag, and he was trading in a load of PlayStation 1 games, a load of Game Boy cartridges and Game Boy Advance cartridges. And I noticed that the lad behind the counter kept passing him some back, saying, we don't take this, we don't take that, blah, blah, blah. So when he was nearly finished with his transaction, I spoke to the lad, and I spoke to the person serving at CEX as well, and I said, is it okay, because I don't want to step on anyone's toes, if I speak to him after this about the ones that you don't want to take? And they said, yeah, if you can take it out of the shop, then that's fine, kind of thing. So I let him finish getting his money for his trading, and we went outside to have a little chat. And I said, what do you want, basically, for what they didn't take? And he said, 15, 20 quid, whatever. And I says, all right, okay, let's have a look what there is. And so I saw what was there, and I says, I'll tell you what, I'll give you 20 quid for it. It doesn't matter. There's nothing massively great here, but there's definitely more than 20 quid's worth. So I'll start off. The first one is I think a decent game, not in great condition though. And I like it because it's got a little picture of Mario on the front, and it's the Game Boy baseball, bit of label damage, but I tested everything. What I'll say is all these, apart from the disc games, all needed a good clean, but they do all work now. So that's good, because at first they were a bit hit and miss whether they're working or not, but now they do all work perfectly well every time. Tested them in a couple of different Game Boy units, and then we've got Denki Blocks, which works, but I've not had a go of it extensively to know what it's about or anything yet. And I don't know whether maybe that battery's going to need changing soon, or maybe it already does need changing. Like I say, I've not tested it that extensively, but I've tested it enough to know that it does work. And then we've got WWF Betrayal. So again, that one works as well. Start putting them down on the floor there now, not on the floor, on the desk. And then the next one's a Super Nintendo game. Again, needed a good clean. This needed a good clean in and out as well. It was a bit grimy on the outside, and it's still not perfect now, but it's better than it was. And it does work. And it's Pool, or is it called Championship Pool or something? Yeah, Championship Pool on the Super Nintendo. So that's another one to go with them. Put that behind F-Zero there. And then we'll go into this nice little pile of, I'll try and get them in an order where, because there's three that are really not as good as the rest kind of thing. So there's a little handful of Game Boy Advance games here. And the first one is Shark Tale. So not the greatest, as we all know. And then we've got another one that's not that great, Ice Age. So the first three aren't great, but they kind of just bulked out the deal, I suppose, a little bit. And then we've got 2 games in one, Monsters Inc. and Finding Nemo, which I think I've got a boxed copy in really nice condition in the cupboard with some of my games. So I think I've got that twice now, but I don't think for 1 minute I'm going to get any kind of money for that one. Next one, I'll leave that one to last because that's the one I'm most happy about finding. And then we've got Street Jam Basketball. So it's not like NBA Jam or anything, but Street Jam Basketball. And we've got, this one's GT Advance 3, and it's got Moto GP on there as well. So another one with 2 games on. And they're both, from what I've seen, the little go I've had of it, they're both decent as well, to be fair. And then the next one we've got is James Bond, codename Robocod. James Pond. Did I say Pond or Bond? I think should have said Pond. I might have said Bond. James Pond Robocod. So that's not a bad one. I've had a little go of that one. That works perfectly well as well. And then with being quite a big Atari collector, as you've probably seen in some of my other videos, unless this is the first time, I like Atari. And we've got one with more than one game on again, and this time it's Millipede, Super Breakout, and Lunar Lander. So that's the one that I was most happy about as far as the Game Boy Advance games go. And that's not all. We've still got more for our 20 quid. And the next one is Mission Impossible on the PlayStation. And it is, this is probably the worst condition one. It is complete, but with a little tear on the manual there. But I think this might have been an ex-rental or something as well, because it's got that like tag on the. It's got that tag on the disc there. But I mean, if it's an ex-rental, it's not been played much. It's because it's pretty nice condition. Possibly been through a resurfacer. And the next one is Shadow Gunner: The Robot Wars, which is quite a new one on me, but it looks like some kind of mech game. So I'll definitely give it a go. Again, I don't think, I mean, CEX mustn't take this, but this is in actually, apart from the little like ripple on the top of the manual there, where it's been caught in something. But apart from that, it's in pretty nice condition. Disc is in nice condition, and I mean, again, doesn't even look like it might not have even been played again. So Shadow Gunner: The Robot Wars. And then this is probably the best one. Again, no massive value to it, but it's probably worth half of what I paid for the full bundle, I think, maybe. But again, I mean, I'll probably be keeping this. And it's X-Men 2 Mutant Academy, or X-Men Mutant Academy 2. And this was the first one, probably the first one I checked. This one's still got the Activision slip in. The manual is in really nice condition. And again, the disc looks like, this really does look like it's probably never been touched. Really nice condition disc. So all those games, I think there was 14 games in total. Cost me £20 for the bundle. I think it came to something like, I've worked out, it was like £1.43 a game or something like that for all those games. And then there's a couple that CEX did take off him that then I went back into CEX and got. I probably could have got them a bit cheaper if I'd have got to him first. But I went in, and again, they weren't expensive anyway. So we got Cool Spot on the Super Nintendo, which was a £5. So God knows what they... Well, I can probably look on the app, but if I paid a £5 for that, I don't know what CEX had just given him, because I think he took cash as well. So I don't know what CEX had just given him to trade that one in. Put that on there. And then Stunt Race FX, and I think that was only £3. Again, all needed a good clean, because they were a bit touchy at first, but now they've been cleaned. And you can see, I have cleaned them inside and out, but you can see like they are a bit... There's stuff, a little bit of stuff that probably is going to take a bit more to get that off there. It's like a bit, probably looks a bit tobacco stain or something like that. And then we've got from Cramlington CEX. So I think I did get that F-Zero. I probably should have showed this about the same time as I showed the F-Zero. No manual with this, but again, it was with vouchers that probably cost me £1 or £2 to put together. So for £5 in vouchers, I picked up Enduro Racer because I haven't got it, and it's in a box. It's not a very good condition box, mind you, but it's in a box, and I haven't got it. So we've picked Enduro Racer up as well. So we've added another Master System game there. And I'll end on what I said earlier on, that if we bought boxed games, it'd only be ones that we had originally when we had a Nintendo 64. So to end, it's nothing massive, but it's one that I spent a lot of time playing, because we actually had a steering wheel for the Nintendo 64 at that time, and it's Top Gear Rally, boxed and complete on the Nintendo 64. So happy to add that one. I think that was £15 of vouchers. Again, probably £2.50, £3 actual real cash cost to me. So very happy with that one. And I think that rounds off the pickups that I need to catch up before I can do a video about Newcastle Gaming Market, which will be coming up next, hopefully in about 3 or 4 days' time. So if you want to see that one, then feel free to subscribe. If you like this video, if you like retro games, feel free to leave me a like. That'd be very much appreciated. Don't really say that much in my videos, but I've seen a lot of people saying it recently, and maybe it does do something to, just to jog people's memory to subscribe or to like the videos. So hopefully you feel like doing that, and I'll catch you in the next video.